Hello and welcome to another edition of Choose the Challenge. I'm LaWanna Bradford and I am so excited to be here with you this month. Can you believe it's Women's History Month? Well, I know there's buzz. Are we still talking about women's history? We are talking about everyone's history because when we understand our history, we can learn more, we can do better because we know better, right? And there's some giants whose shoulders we stand on. And this month, I'm so excited because Choose the Challenge, we are going to be featuring women from all walks of life who have a very unique spin on how they do what they do in order to help empower women and men in different areas of their life and business. Today, I have none other than the dynamic Miriam Smith Stevens, and she is with the Thankful Revolution Legacy Group. And the great thing about Miriam is we hear people talk about your purpose and or purposeful living. And what does that all mean? Well, she has integrated three elements. So not only understanding your purpose, but being able to find your voice and express it in such a way that the world leans in, that you're now able to convert that purpose into passion that's profitable. Sounds pretty interesting, right? Well, stay tuned and we will see Miriam right after this. How's it going, Miriam?
Hi, LaWanna. It's going wonderfully here in the East Coast of the USA. So that's nice. It was snowing a little bit,
Oh, okay.
but that was last week. So we're doing well now. What
Yeah,
about
it's like
yourself?
you don't know what the weather is going to do, right? It's like,
Mhm.
is it snowing? How do I dress? It's layers. You just don't. You don't know.
Exactly.
Well, I'm glad that you took time out of your busy schedule to be with us today. This is so exciting because today we're going to talk about finding your purpose, your sound, and what that all means. And you classify yourself as a vision life coach. And for our viewing audience, we hear get a coach, get a mentor, get a consultant, and there's so many different lanes. But what is a vision life coach?
When I was growing up as a young girl, my mother and my grandmother were all teachers, and I grew up with Hardy Boys and Nancy Drew, and I had this library. Even though I had a few Barbies, I was more so into the library and speaking and reading and all of those types of aspects. So as a child, I saw Les Brown and I was like, wow, I'm inspired. You know, here I am, a little kid, like 10 years old, wanting to be a speaker. Didn't know what that meant, didn't have a message, didn't know what I was going to talk about. I just thought it was interesting to be up there and just rally the crowd and get everybody motivated and encouraged. And so even today, I told my mother just a week back, she's 89 now, and she never knew that I wanted. I said, Mom, did you ever know I really dreamed to be like a Les Brown? She said, really? No, I didn't know that. So what that means for me, I feel like life be lifing, as we all know. And sometimes you come to a point where you have to have a pivot. I've had several pivots in my life where maybe we have setbacks, we have challenges, chaos, confusion, and it really matters what you're going to do in that crossroad. And I'm here to help a person navigate through that crossroad into their next leg of their journey. And instead of being stuck or stagnant or
Right.
a dream deferred or just hopeless like I was at one time, just, give them their passion back, reignite them. I call myself the brand paramedic. So instead of flatlining and just existing to die, let's go ahead and get resuscitated back into life, existing, thriving, passion, purpose, and then even leave a legacy, a footprint, something that you won't be on your deathbed thinking of a regret, but you'll be saying, hey, I lived my life. I did what I came to do, and I'm happy about that. I'd like to help facilitate that journey with a person. So that's my perspective of a vision life coach. I listen to you. What's your heartbeat? What do you like to do? What's your bent in life? What brings you joy and a smile, like talking with you and talking about this? That's your bent in life. Okay, let's pursue it. No limitations. Let's take the caps off. We can do this.
I like that. And that's one of the things that Choose the Challenge is all about. It's about pushing the envelope when it comes to those mindsets, institutions, systems, processes that keep us limited, right? It keeps us in a box. And sometimes we get so comfortable in that box that it's scary to think that there could be life outside the box, right? We've lost our dream because, like you said, life be lifing. Things happen. And we've become so beaten up and disillusioned that we forget how to dream, and we even forget what that passion was. And it's
Right.
okay to have people help us to reignite, right? And as you said, resuscitate.
Exactly. I think sometimes it's necessary. Sometimes we can get in dark spaces and we might not be able to pull ourselves out of it. And so it's good to have that friend, that person, or an outsider that has a different perspective that can kind of wake you up and say, hey, it's okay. You'll get through this. And I'd like to be, that type of person to help another individual in this life's journey.
I like that. We're going to be back in one moment. I want to give people kind of a visual of what you're saying, and then we're going to dig a little bit deeper.
Okay.
Have you ever felt like you're living in your very own zombie apocalypse? A moment when life knocks you down, leaving you feeling stuck? I've been there. But here's the good news. There is a way out. Miriam Smith Stevens, a visionary life coach and the founder of the Thankful Revolution Legacy Group. Her CPR roadmap is designed to help you rebound from struggles, renew your mind, and reclaim your place in the world. It's time to find your voice. Uncover your life song and live with purpose and ease, because your story isn't over. Let's rewrite your next chapter together. Contact Miriam Smith Stevens today.
We are back with Miriam Smith Stevens, and we're talking about finding your purpose, finding your sound. And when I looked at your reel, I thought, wow, it starts off really dark. But I guess when you were focusing on your particular client, they are in that space, right, where life just, you don't know how to get out of it. I know I've been where I call it the abyss. Some people call it the dark place of the soul. So if you live long enough, you're going to experience that in some fashion, but you're able to help them see their way out. That's my understanding. Yes.
Yeah. I came into this space because I lived this space. I lived in that zombie apocalypse type Walking Dead moment after a horrific trauma that I experienced a few years back. And then after that trauma, insult to injury, I lost so much. My lucrative job, my car, my dream car, resources, eventually became homeless. So it was just a really dark place for me. And so it took really a divine intervention, a cup of soup, microwavable soup, and a prayer from my son to get me out of that and to find joy again. define, and you talk about your sound, and I'm a musically inclined person, so I like to find my song again. And it actually was 2 songs that really got me through that moment that I kept playing in my mind, so that could fill my mind instead of, the negativity or all of the losses. So I wanted to help another individual or individuals who may be in a place where they have to pivot, because I had to pivot, and to teach about the power of pivot, the power of we can change. We don't have to remain in it. Yeah. And you reminded me of a poem that I wrote. It's okay not to be okay. Basically, it's the gist of the message. But sometimes we're just not okay. Sometimes we don't feel good. Sometimes we're in our emotions, and it's okay. I feel like God gives us the grace to heal at our own pace. And so I just want to remind people of that, because other people who may not walk in your shoes or who may not have the capacity for empathy would just dump on you. And then you'll feel even worse in that spot, that darkness, that abyss that you mentioned. So yeah, that is something that I've learned, personally moved through in my own life journey, and have the joy to help other people move through in their life.
I want to let the audience know that this show is for infotainment purposes only. We will be talking about some topics that are sensitive, as we mentioned, the dark place of the soul. Obviously, we know the importance of the conversation around mental health, mental well-being, emotional health. And if you find that you are in a place where you need to reach out to someone, we encourage you to reach out to that professional.
Yes.
At 800-662-4357 or text 988, again, 988. You can also go to 988lifeline.org if you need immediate support. And I want to just get into what's going on right now here in the U.S. We know we have viewers from around the world, and the world is watching the changes that are happening. And a lot of individuals, Miriam, are finding themselves stuck and confused and scared, not knowing what's going to happen. Jobs have been lost. Programs are changing. And so the world that they knew, where they had a sense of security, is no longer there. Tell me, what is one thing, because I know there's numerous things that you could tell people, but what is the first thing that you would tell someone who, and I'll give you I'm going to give you a specific example. There is one individual who ended up losing his job, and he had followed all of the requirements in order to go out on his terms. But because policy changed, he ended up losing his job. And I was listening to it on the news, and I was thinking, he's not the only one. There's many people who are in that boat. So if he or we're sitting in front of you right now, what's the first thing that you would tell them?
Well, first I'd say I've been there, literally. I've been there where corporate downsized, and I was there after the most horrific trauma of my life, where I lost a lucrative job, and I'm not there walking in their particular shoes, but I feel you. I hear you. I would want to just listen to the person, because sometimes a person needs to vent, needs to feel like there is someone who has a listening ear and really cares about them. And then I would say, okay, this is our reality. Now, what I had to do was pivot. I can offer you that as a point now for you to get back on track. And I have a saying that I feel like I've been set up for a step up. And I think in life's journey that we often get those setups for a step up. And so at this point, you can look at it 2 ways. You can just remain bitter or sad or angry or frustrated and be stuck. Or you can look at it as an opportunity for you to make your own way You can go for that dream job that you've always wanted, or create the job, create the business or the dream that you've always wanted. And my definition of pivot is P is purpose, I is innovation, V is voice, O is opportunity, T is transformation. So now you get an opportunity to find your purpose, discover what really is your passion, what really is in your soul, to use innovation. We have so much out here available for us that we can embrace the new ways of thinking. Go ahead. You're not there anymore. So what now? What you want to do? What's next? Be innovative. Tap into your creativity, tap into the things that you left on the shelf and it was just like a dream deferred. And now reclaim your voice. Go ahead. Sometimes we have to find a point of reflection and get to our authentic self. And then that's where the opportunities open up. I'm having conversation with you because I had to pivot, and the opportunity to be able to learn of you and to be in your presence and to learn of your programming happened for me in my journey, in my pivot. And then we walk on a transformation. That's where we have a new attitude, a new behavior, new things happen. And then it's exciting. You have those opportunities that will present to you. So I would say those things. First, listen, empathize, and then offer some suggestions of what I took on my journey to help me get to a better, and it's not gloom and doom. You don't have to stay stuck.
And I appreciate that. And that's definitely easier said than done. When you're in it, it's
hard.
Really hard to look outside of just what's pressing in on you. But I liked what you said here as far as pivot is. And I think in order to first, again, this is choose the challenge. So in order to first pivot, you have to have clarity of mind. Otherwise you're spinning. Because if you don't have clarity of mind, that line of sight, it's really kind of hard to figure out what is my purpose? What is that passion? Because right now I'm trying to survive, right? It's like that person who's drowning, and I may throw them the lifeline, throw them a lifesaver, but they're not looking at the lifesaver. They're just so panicked on I'm drowning. But the pivot here, I'm simplifying it because I know your program is very intensive, but this is basically a lifesaver. It's helping you to go through identifying your purpose, finding a way to innovate. It is a hope, and it helps you to be inspired in finding your voice, because I think when we are in the dark, we become small and we become quiet, or sometimes we can become enraged and become very explosive, but neither one of those are our true voice. It's the extreme based on what's happening. And then from there, like you mentioned, you can now find the opportunity. I like to say you find the opportunity in the chaos, because there's always opportunity.
Yeah.
You have to be willing to see it. And then that's when transformation comes. So I love that. I want to ask you, just from your lens, with everything that is happening, do you think that your time is now for this message that you're giving and for this solution? Is it prime time for Miriam Smith Stevens?
Yeah, I think there's a time and season for everything. And yes, I believe my time is now. It's funny because I'm a news junkie too. I have some background in journalism. And after the election in the United States, I kind of muted the television so I wouldn't get inundated with so many opinions and so much. Some people were hopeless, and I base my life on faith. So I didn't want to feed into that or have that fed into me, so that I could focus on the things that I wanted to do, which was create a message of hope, create a message of you don't have to stay in the cycles of lack, less than, and limitations, to create a message, as you said, to let's identify what your crisis, your chaos, your current situation is, so you can get some clarity. And then you can get into the pivot and the renewal and the new beginnings is our witness mode and framework. So yeah, my time is now.
You
Yes,
said you
it
said something
is.
that I'd like to tap into. You said that you're a person of faith, and I know everyone has their, well, not, people find a way to find their anchor, whatever that is, that thing, to give you a point of centeredness. For you and your journey, walk us through, if you don't mind, your faith walk, and how has that provided you strength, hope, inspiration, and transformation?
Well, when I had my life and death experience in 2008, I got to a place where my faith was shattered and my peace was shattered just because of the trauma that I experienced. And I was always the person in the crowd or in the group that be the encourager or the cheerleader. And I couldn't cheer for myself, nor could I. I was empty. So at that particular part of my faith, it was lacking. I was just dead. I couldn't even see hope. And you wonder why sometimes people get to the end of their rope. And I felt that. I was like, oh, okay, now I understand. But God was always there. You know, he was there when I had my life and death situation, didn't let me go, go to that extreme of death. And he was there when I was in my gloomy parts. And then he was there to help me with my pivot, where he actually just downloaded through, as I mentioned, the Thankful Revolution was birthed out of a cup of soup, a prayer, and a fit of laughter. And it was that moment when my son bought a convenience store cup of soup, microwavable cup of soup. I was in my bed just feeling all out of it, just was like, what's the use? What's the purpose? I've lost everything. And he brought it to me, and I looked at him, and I must have looked really horrible. And this was my adult son. He was just coming back from freshman year of college. And I was like, can you just pray for me? And sometimes your children might, give you a hard time, but he must have seen in my face, I was serious. So he started praying. Now, here I am holding this cup of soup in my hands. And if you have a microwavable cup of soup, you open up the lid a little bit, you pour the water in, you steam it, and then the little steam starts rising and the noodles fluff up. Okay, I'm holding it. And as he began to pray, the little steam was rising in my nose. And he was like, Lord, please help my mother. He couldn't even get through that sentence. Whatever was in me that was contrite and disheveled and depressed and despair, it roared up out of me. And all I did was scream, Lord, thank you for this cup of soup. And I was like, it startled me. I'm looking at him. It startled him. And we're quirky. We just began to laugh. And, there's these memes on the internet where people are laughing and they're laughing so hard. There's no sound coming out. There's tears coming down their face. They're just hitting each other and just rolling all over the floor laughing. That was the scene. And that place of trauma that was in my bedroom that happened years ago became the place of deliverance, where I got triumph and I got joy back. And God downloaded to me his joy. The word of the Lord says, the joy of the Lord is your strength. And that became life for me. That actual scripture became life for me, where I was able to pivot out of my zombie state into a joy state. And he reminded me, he said, okay, look, daughter, I know you're going through, but I never left you. I never forsaken you. Today we're people celebrate different things like birthdays and Valentine's Day and show forth their love. Well, God was showing me love all along. I didn't recognize it because I was in that state of, gloom, emotionalness. And he said, I need you to just start thanking me. Focus on gratitude. Just thank me regardless. So that's what I did. And that's why the Thankful Revolution was born. Out of that moment, that pivot, that cup of soup, that fit of laughter, and that prayer, where I just started focusing on, hey, I'm just going to give you Thanksgiving, God, forever. And it's glad that I had that pivot moment, because like a week later, we got evicted. So I needed to have a pivot so that I would really have heaped on me depression. But I was able to get through.
Yeah.
I was able to get through that particular leg of the journey. And ever since, whatever the ebbs and flows of life be throwing me, I have a new focus. I have a new perspective. And
I like what you said about being thankful, and in the name of your company is the Thankful Revolution. And we often hear people talk about it's important to be grateful. And the more that you're grateful and thankful, the more things you'll have to be thankful about. And I'm a person of faith, and I know, just speaking from the Bible, it says, I'll enter your courts with thanksgiving in my heart. That's the first thing you do. Then I'll enter your gates with praise. And there is truly it's a mindset shift. There's an emotional shift that happens when you can begin to start thanking God, or just start being thankful. You may say, well, I don't believe in God. Well, if you can say thankful to the person that you can see, you can say thankful to something, to something that's out there, for just being able to wake up in the morning, because so many people didn't, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Having breath, being able to breathe. We know coming out of COVID, so many people couldn't. So
Yes.
I love and I was about to ask you, where's the name of your business come from? But it's so powerful because it's thankful, but then revolution. And revolution is radical.
Yeah.
It's rising up. It's domination. And I hope that individuals are really leaning into this. If you're in a place where you're feeling hopeless, if you just find the little things, just to start saying thank you, even if it's one thing and you're just saying it over and over again, it does change. Your energy literally shifts a little bit, right?
It does. It does. It's funny because the revolution part is the disruption. I had to get a disruption. I had to get something that just totally void out what state I was in. Mm-hmm. And it had to shift into a ripple effect of joy, of gratitude, of gratefulness. And like you said, even if you're not a person of faith, which is fine, I feel like universally we sow something, we reap something. And that's just the universal principle. It's a boomerang effect. So whatever you're sowing in your life, if you're sowing an attitude of negativity, of cancel culture, of just, I'm ungrateful, I'm never going to get ahead, I'm just, I'm insecure, I don't have enough, I can't do this. You wonder why your environment is reaping that. And it's just what you're speaking out of your mouth, what you dwelling in your heart. So if you shift your mind, just alter it. As you said, one word. I am grateful that I have the internet and can see this Choose the Challenge program today. Someone had the mindset and the dream and the capacity to keep on moving on and created this internet situation. And now we have this opportunity to get that right there at the convenience of wherever you're at, to see a message like this. I'm grateful for that.
Yeah.
I'm grateful for that. Just whatever. I'm
Miriam,
grateful.
We are almost out of time. And I want to give you 1 minute to talk about another element of this, which is finding your sound, and how you mentioned, just the musicality and your interest in music. How do you take that piece, marry it with the purpose and the transformation for individuals? And we have about 2 minutes before we will be out of time. Okay. So I'll let you take that away.
Okay, so what happened, as I said before, I have a musical affinity. My mother was a music educator. People in my family are musically inclined. And in my darkest space, even though I did have the therapies and things that you go through. It took 2 songs to help me get through, which was Mary J. Blige, shout out to her, Just Fine, and Donald J. Lawrence, I Speak Life, shout out to them. I don't own the rights, but that's what I had to play on a CD constantly, just repeat loop. And I found that music takes us all to a place, takes us to a place of what we remember. Maybe it was our first dance. Maybe it's like the Rocky movie and you think of him running up the steps and dun, 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 and then he's in the ring and he's got victory. Even though he gets punched down on the mat, he comes back up and then he becomes the victor. He becomes the world champion. And that's what I like. I want us to become the world champion of our lives. And so I had to find my song. I had to get my joy back through music. And I love utilizing music to help find other songs. I've helped clients get their joy back. I listen to them. I listen to what they want to do, their heartbeat, their joy, their style, their musical taste. And then I craft a song for them. And that helps. When you're going through whatever you're going through, especially if you want to start a business or you're going through a dream, sometimes you come across some roadblocks, some challenges. And it's nice to have that musical song, press and play, just so that you can have that, oh, okay, I got this. I can get through it. I can dance through it. I have my groove back. And that's what I like creating for some of my clients as well. So again, I'm here, the brand paramedic, here to help you resuscitate your life, your brand, your dreams. I also like to allow you to find the song of your life so that you can have the message, the music, your legacy. It won't have to be stifled anymore. You can get through it with harmony and with peace and balance and joy. So thank you for this time today, LaWanna. It's been such a joy speaking with you. And I just encourage everybody, hey, if you have a dream, if you have a setback, it's okay. It's just a setup for you, for your greatness, for your brilliance.
I love that. Thank you so very much, Miriam. Please make sure you all follow her. I'm just going to put this down again, her website, the Thankful Revolution Legacy Group. Again, the Thankful Revolution Legacy Group. You can also find her on all things social media. Miriam, it has been a joy having you here as we kick off Women's History Month. Yay, yay, yay.
Yes, yes, yes.
And I know this is going to be a source of encouragement and inspiration for individuals. And if you find that you are in a place that you're just trying to figure out, okay, I got to pivot. Life has changed. Things have happened that I didn't expect. Number one, if you're in that really dark mental, emotional space, please reach out and get the support that you need from professionals. And when you're wanting to take it to the next level, to empower yourself, empower your life, empower your walk, live life on your terms. I like what you said. You could reinvent yourself, recreate yourself. Yes. Miriam Smith Stevens is the one you want to connect with. So thank you all. Thank you, Miriam, again. And I encourage you to remember that in life and in business, when your vision intersects with opportunity, success is inevitable. We'll see you next week for another edition of Choose the Challenge. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Are you ready to defy gravity and challenge the impossible? Meet LaWanna Bradford, the visionary leader behind Choose to Challenge on E360 TV. Now in its 5th season, this groundbreaking show shines a spotlight on voices of change from across the globe. Born during the pandemic, Choose to Challenge becomes a platform for transformation where no topic is off limits. Every episode highlights individuals breaking barriers, rewriting narratives, and making an impact. Ready to share your story and inspire change? Call 404-618-2824 to become a guest. This is your moment to rise. Tune in now at e360tv.com. Your voice matters. Let's change the world together.
I've been searching for a gold mine, been digging for a long time, looking for a diamond of the rarest kind. night. Then one day I found a perfect treasure, a worth of impossible measure. I started to pray, then I heard you say you would forever be mine. I struck love